If you don't like them, would you still vote for them? That's the question that tens of millions of people are probably going to have to answer in November. Check out these numbers. 63% of people in a recent poll have an unfavorable opinion of Donald Trump. More than half feel the same way about Hillary Clinton. That's a lot of dislike. New York Times is struggling to find a precedent. It says, quote, Trump and Clinton's resounding triumphs on Tuesday masked a profound, historic, and unusual reality. Most Americans still don't like him or her. Both major parties must now confront the depth of skepticism, resistance, and distaste for their frontrunners, a sentiment that would profoundly shape a potential general election showdown between Mr. Trump and Mrs. Clinton. Dominic, the Times wasn't able to find a historical comparison. Can you think of anything, maybe even on a local level, where there's just so much dislike for both of the people who look like they're squaring off?
No. The Times has a newspaper to fill with material. I don't think that's relevant at all.
Why not?
At all.
Why not?
The bottom line, I don't even... to me, it's a silly topic, to be honest with you.
Thank you very much. Why not?
I'm sorry about that. But the bottom line is going to come down to this. If it's Hillary versus Trump, who runs the best campaign? Who's the last person standing? Because they're going to kill each other. The kitchen sinks are about to come out. You're going to hear about all of Trump's affairs. You're going to hear about all of Bill Clinton's things that we still haven't heard about. We're going to get tours of Arkansas. That this is where Bill Clinton did this. It's going to be a war. So who has the highest unfavorable? I don't understand why it's relevant.
Go ahead. It's natural that the unfavorable is going to be really high right now. They're running in the primaries,
Right.
so there's
That's
a whole
true,
bunch
too.
of people that aren't going to like them because they're running to the left, and the other one's running to the
true.
whatever. But so there's going to be a lot of unfavorables. As they get down, if this was closer to election time and these were the statistics or what the polls were to maintain these numbers, then I think it would be troublesome. But the reality is this is too early to tell.
Dominic was saying we're about to get down and dirty and really get into the attack ads, but with everybody's negatives so high, does that work? Can you win by making your opponent's negatives even bigger when they're already so high?
Yeah, you have to. You have to. I mean, this is the only way, politics works. You have to destroy the other opponent, your opponent, and that's it. And Donald Trump is an expert. And I just think Donald Trump, I mean, he even says it, I haven't even started on her yet. It's not even I haven't started with her. I haven't even started again. I haven't even started on her. There's just something so
Trump is a guilty
bullying.
pleasure anyway. I think people like him and are afraid to admit it. It's just my supposition. And when they say these huge unfavorable ratings for Trump, I think they like the attacks that he does. I think that's why he's so successful now. I think people are secretly looking forward to a blood sport between him and Clinton.
Yep.
And I think half the people who say they have unfavorable ratings of him probably like him as a guilty
This is the
pleasure.
greatest show on earth. People love reality TV. This is reality TV.
Congressman?
You know, there was a prime minister in Italy named Berlusconi who was a billionaire who was just like Donald Trump, charming, wealthy.
How many times did he win?
Had a great delivery, and people enjoyed him. Until, of course, he went to jail, and they threw him out for all kinds of scandals.
But then he came back.
But the point is, people can only be fooled so much. The real question, I think, with regards to the high negatives of both candidates is, whose base or whose needed number of voters is going to be most affected by negatives? So if one argues that Hillary Clinton's base has already heard all of these negative things about her, Whitewater, the stuff that went on in Arkansas, the emails, Benghazi. They've already heard that, and they love her, and they may well come out and deliver her the presidency. Whereas Donald Trump, we haven't yet seen all of the contradictory statements he's made in our face again and again, which will happen, as Dom said, with the kitchen sink before November. Won't some of his independents and moderate Republicans be turned off to that, notwithstanding his charm and
This goes both
him being
ways,
fun?
Congressman.
It does go both ways.
The anti-Hillary vote will go to Trump. The anybody but Trump will go to Hillary. And that's where I think that this is one of the most unique elections, if it comes down to this. We already spoke that, I mean, at least my opinion was Trump doesn't come out of the convention. But if he does, and this does happen, there's the anybody but Hillary and the anyone but Trump who could cross over against each
I
other.
agree with you, Brad, that this is going to be a very close election if Trump is the nominee and if Hillary's the nominee. But I do think that the base, that the independents and moderate Republicans who Trump would need to win might be more affected than Hillary's base. But we'll find out.
Yeah, sure.
Mark, you said you think that there are a lot of people who say in polls that they don't like Trump, and then they
They really
actually
like
sort
him.
of do.
Yeah.
Then why is he getting like 35% of the Republican vote in aggregate?
Well,
why isn't he doing better?
Because there's a hardcore percentage of the base that thinks Trump is too liberal and that likes Ted Cruz. I mean, Cruz's politics are very, right in line, directly aligned with the hardcore Republican base. I think people know that Trump says one thing and probably means another, and that his core political beliefs are far to the left of Ted Cruz's. And one more thing on this point. I think there are a lot of people who like Trump. I don't think that there are a lot of people who are wildly passionate about Hillary Clinton. I don't think you'll find that many people jumping through hoops that they love her, but there are a lot of people who dislike her.
That is a fair statement, Counselor. I'll make it quick. Just remember what happened in this primary. Hillary brought out Bill Clinton, and Trump said, oh, no. You're not going to have him running around energizing the base. And what happened? Within a couple of days, Bill Clinton had nothing to say. That's what's going to happen in the general election. The first time she turns to her husband, which she should do, to energize the base, Trump is going to throw the kitchen sink and everything else at the Clintons.
Plus, people have a lot of Clinton fatigue. We're tired of them. It's been too long, and they've been out there for too long.
New Yorkers might have some Trump fatigue. I got to go. Unfortunately, we're up next. We've been talking about the presidential primaries in 5 states yesterday, and it was election day there. But did you also know there was an election day around here? I bet you didn't, and that's one of the problems.